Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to access our online databases and assign articles from them to your Google Classroom. So the first thing you need to do is get to your EGUSD portal. You'll click on the folder called Library Resources, and you'll see the options of different databases that our district and the state of California provide. In this case, we'll go to EBSCO. That's the one we're used to using. From here, you'll be prompted for a username and password that I sent to you in the body of the email. So our user ID is MTHS Mustangs, and our password is EHMS Colts 19 exclamation mark. Once you enter the username and password, you can select which database will work best for you. Explora Secondary Schools is the one we go to the most. It provides current events. And now, once the interface comes up, you can type in the topic in the search bar. In this case, I'll type in the word pandemic. Maybe we want to learn a little bit more about what these pandemics are. So we'll go ahead and search for that. And then once it brings back results, I really don't want to start my search here. I want to filter this a little bit more. So I'm going to come over here to the left, and I'm going to select news. News are newspaper articles. And then after that, I'm still not quite done filtering. I want to change the Lexile level and make it a little bit more accessible to the students I'm teaching. So I'm going to come down here on the left-hand side again, and I'm going to select this Lexile right here. So now it's going to update the results list, and give it a moment to do that. And now I've got a list of articles here that are much more customized to the students that I'm teaching. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the very first one here. And once that opens, I can read it, decide how I want to use this article, and if it looks like something I want to give to my students, I'm simply going to click Google Classroom on the right-hand side this time. It will bring up a window asking me which class I want to give this to. If this is your first time doing it, it might ask you for permission to access Google Drive. You want to click Allow. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the class I want. I'm going to give it to my demo class. And then it's going to ask me which actions I want to give it. So I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to say this is going to be a question. Then I hit Go, and it's going to keep the Google Interface Classroom layered on top of the article. So it kind of brings up a little window. And now I can fill out all of the regular instructions that I want for my students right here. And I can assign it, I can schedule it, whatever I normally do for Google Classroom. Once a student opens this assignment, to access the article that's been assigned to them, to be honest, I'm not sure if they need the username and password. You please definitely give the username and password to EBSCO for the student. To bypass that, though, what you can do is, instead of dumping this into Google Classroom, I can actually sync it to Google Drive. In this case, it will ask me which Google account I want to give this to. And I'm going to give it to this one. And then it's going to route to that account. I'm going to click OK here. And then if I go to my Google Drive account that I sent this article to, I can open it up without a username and password. So I'll click Drive. The article should be right up in my Quick Access tabs once it loads. I'm just giving it a moment to load. The reason why this might be a better way to assign articles to Google Classroom is doing it this way means that your students do not need a username and password to get into the article. So here it is. This is the one I just dumped in there. It's going to come up looking like this, but if I open with Google Docs, it's now going to take that script and reformat it to something that I can read. It's also going to bring the works cited with it too, if that's something that you need your students to be aware of. So we're just giving it a moment to load in that way, and you will see the article in an actual Google Doc, and it will be something you can own, so you can annotate the article. You can add your questions in the article if you want. You can do whatever you normally do to a Google Doc. And now what I can do is actually assign this out to Classroom in this format rather than looking at the one from EBSCO. And there are a lot of benefits to that. So it's in there. I can come back into my Drive account. Oops. And then I can come over here to my waffle grid. Whoops. And I can go to Classroom. Let's try that again. And then once I'm in Classroom, I can open up the class that I want to give this article to. In this case, I'm going to give it to my demo class here. Classwork. Create. Just give it an assignment. And then once I have this filled out the way I would normally do with an assignment in Google Classroom, I click Add at the bottom. I go to Google Drive, and then it should be the first one. There it is. That's the correct format. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to click Add. And now this is what I would like you to notice is that Google Doc is now accessible, or that article is now accessible as a Google Doc. So when the students open it, they do not need a username or a password to read that article. It's also going to make them their own file, so they can actually annotate right directly on this article and send it back to you as an assignment. So I hope that helped with looking at EBSCO database articles and how you can put them into your Google Drive. Please let me know if you have any questions.